Hey Stampers, it's Debbie with Stamp It with Debbie, and I'm so excited that it's Facebook Live on Wednesday so that I can share a brand new product with you. Stampin' Up, in case you haven't heard, has a brand new annual catalog, and it just came out, and this is one of the stamp sets that is being featured in that catalog, and it's called Over the Moon, and I am in love with this stamp set. I can't quit creating cards and projects with it, so I thought it was only appropriate. This is the one that I would use today to show you my projects. So here are the 3 projects we're going to be creating. This cute little card with one of our new colors, and this card, and I thought it was appropriate to create a little milk carton. So these are the 3 projects that we're going to be creating today. Let me just take a minute to get myself set up on my iPad here. And I would like to welcome you all. If you're new to my Facebook Live, I would like to welcome you. If you have watched me before, I'd like to welcome you back and thank you for stopping in today. All right. Okay, looks like we have a couple people on right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So if you're watching the replay and you're watching on YouTube, I would really appreciate if you would hit the subscribe button below, and don't forget to hit the little bell so that you'll get all the notifications when I have a new video out. And if you're watching me on Facebook Live right now, if you'd click live or give me a little emoji to let me know you're here, that would be perfect too. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me grab some of my supplies. And I'm rushing over here because actually last night I gave away my only catalog that I had because I had ordered some and then I gave them to someone. And so I'm struggling because I'm just going to be honest, I don't know the names of the new in colors. So I believe this new one is Purple Posy. It's the only one that I used. If someone knows the real name of it, if you could leave me a message. It's something Posy, I'm pretty sure, which is this inside the gingham paper. I'm going to be using that today. So I think let's start with that card. And what you're going to need for that, I used a piece of, even though it's the new in color, I wanted something that kind of coordinated with it. So I used a piece of Highland Heather, and that is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And, oh, looks like Diane's watching us from the airport. She's getting ready for a very exciting trip. I have a piece of Whisper White cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to put that on the inside. I have a piece of this gingham paper, and this is the new, I use these a lot in the old catalog. They've changed it up just a little bit. They're still, I'll pull it out just to show you. These are the new in colors, and they've changed the stacks just a little bit. They have a little bit different design. So they have gingham on one side and like this triangle pattern on the back, and then they have one that has some writing on it. And then on the back of that is this pattern. So this comes in all the color suites, and this one here is all of the new in colors. And I will be featuring the new in colors very shortly. I'm just waiting for a couple of my supplies to come in, and then we'll do that. So these will be available in all of the color suites, and you get 40 sheets in each pack. So that's what this piece is from. So again, 4 by 5 1/4. From the layering circles, I cut the largest black circle, and from the stitched framelits, I used the largest circle in Whisper White. And then from the butterfly gala stamp set, I did cut 2 butterflies, and I colored those with Highland Heather, and I punched them out with a butterfly punch. And then we're also going to be using our polka dot tool, and that's in the white. So let's get started with our stamping. We're going to use all of the cows today for the different projects. I'm stamping my cow in the Memento black, tuxedo black, because when you're using the blender pens, you want to use the Memento ink, the tuxedo black. I'm going to use just a little bit of Granny Apple Green to make these little grass tufts here. And that's all the ink we need, and then I'll just go ahead and move into coloring him. I did forget, I do need to stamp my little greeting right here, so I'm going to take that piece of my gingham paper, and I'm just going to use the Memento black for that again. And I'm going to pull this back so I can hopefully do it straight. You're utterly fantastic. So we don't want to glue this piece down yet because we need to wrap our ribbon around it. So I'm going to go ahead and color this. I am using, to color it, dark basic black. I love the Stampin' Blends markers. Light petal pink. I'm using a little bit of light Flirty Flamingo for inside his ear, and light Smoky Slate. And I'll try to color these really quickly. I thought about just having them already colored, but then I thought, then you can't see how fun it is to, and how quick it is to color them in, so I'll try to make it fast. I think I'm going to use the other end here because this is a bigger area. These cows, they just melt my heart. I'm so excited about this stamp set. I can't even tell you. All right, I'm going to color inside of his ear just a little bit of pink. And then I'm going to color his spots with this black blends marker. Oh, I probably should have put something underneath. Hopefully it doesn't bleed through onto my paper there. Nope. Okay, so we're all done coloring this. So now we're going to just use a little bit of adhesive. Center that right on our, whoa, almost didn't center it. Right on the center there. I'm going to use 4 dimensionals. I want to make sure that they're at the top and at the bottom, meaning the cow is right side up, and then I have this way because I want to make sure that it staggers over the ribbon. And then grab my paper snips here. Now you could cheat with this ribbon and do a little cheater bow like I've shown you before, where you just attach it around the front. I maybe should have. This ribbon stretches just a little bit, so sometimes it catches me a little off guard. I think that's good. Once I glue it down, I think it's going to be perfect. So let me just trim this just a little. And then I'll go ahead and put adhesive on the back here. And I like to make sure that I have adhesive around where the ribbon is too, just to make sure that it stays in place. Oh, come on. Okay. Now my finger is stuck to my card. Okay. Real life video, gotta love it. All right, I already scored this. I'm going to fold it in half. Use my bone folder just to make sure I have a nice crisp edge. And then make sure that our wording is right side up. And go ahead and put this on. Now we can peel the backing off of our dimensionals here. And put the little cow right on the front. And then I'm going to use a couple glue dots to put my butterflies on. Well, apparently the last time I used my glue dots, I rolled this all up and forgot to tear off the extra. And put one up there. And one down here. So there we go. Isn't that super adorable? If you like it, will you leave me a heart? I love the purple with it. I'm looking forward to making one of these with, we still do have the buffalo check background. So I'm looking forward to making it in a yellow and a blue. I think it will be super cute in all of those colors. Now, before we're totally done, I did want to just stamp a little bit on the inside. So I'm going to take that same cow, because I promised a couple people last week I would start showing. I don't always stamp something on the inside. Hopefully I'm in center here. So I'm just going to stamp the cow just a little bit. And I think I'm going to go ahead and color him in just a little bit here. Very quickly. Again, I don't always put something on the inside. This card is purple, so I thought I probably should make the inside of it white just so you can see it a little better. And actually, I would also be, if I'm sending this to someone, I like to stamp on my envelopes. So I'm going to be stamping a cow on the outside of the envelope. I'll just stamp it right down in the bottom corner. The one thing you have to remember, I'll get my envelope here just so you can see. So I would stamp it down in this corner down here. But one thing that you need to remember if you're coloring it with the Stampin' Blends markers is it will bleed through. So I always just take a little note card or scrap piece of paper, stick it in there, stamp it and color it, and then it will bleed through on my note card instead of through your envelope. So that's what I would do for that. I know some people don't like to stamp their envelopes because then the envelopes get separated from their card, and then they have a cow envelope and they're trying to send something different. So when I store mine, I try to, I'll show you once again. So there's the inside, and you could put one more of the greetings in there or just write your own little thing. So when I'm storing mine, I'll just store it behind or tuck it in like this and just put it in my storage so that it's right together, so I don't lose the envelope that I stamped purposely for that card. So that's card number 1. Here is cute card number 2, and I think this could be a great card for so many things. I think it could be great for a graduation, or thank you, someone just told me, Carol, but it's Purple Posy. I was thinking it was Purple Posy, but I wasn't for sure. The colors haven't been around very long, and I'm still trying to get used to them and forget the old colors. So again, I think this one could be really good for a graduation or somebody that's just trying to make some changes in life. I think that would be a real good card for them. So this one I am using Petal Pink, and that is at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of white, Whisper White, at 4 by 5 1/4. That will be for the inside. This one is 4 by 5 1/4, and that one is for the outside. I have this little piece of mint macaron, which is 3 1/4 by 2.5, and a piece of Whisper White that is 3 by 2 1/4. For this card, we're using a brand new ribbon. It is called Textile Ribbon, and that comes in mint macaron. It's kind of a coarse kind of ribbon. I like it. It ties a good bow, and it stays tied very nicely. So we'll also be using that. And then also for this little piece right here, this came from our Magnolia suite, and I'll be sharing that with you later. But this is the back side, and I wanted something a little more neutral, so this is what I'm using for this piece here. So let's get started here. We'll go ahead and fold our card in half. And then before we started adhering the card, we need to stamp this little image here. And that's this one. And so for this piece, you can take a marker, not a Stampin' Blends, but a regular Stampin' Write marker, and go around the outside, or you could mask off that little heart inside, and you could also use this for just a cloud on a image to not have the heart inside. So if you put a little piece of washi tape over that heart, ink this up, or you take a Stampin' Write marker and go around that and don't mark up the heart, you'll be able to just get a cloud without the heart inside. So on this piece of paper, we're going to use mint macaron ink. Let me get my scrap paper. And we're just really randomly going to stamp these little dreamy, I'm dreaming of something fabulous. I think I'm going to do one more up here. And that part is done, so I think I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on that and put it right on the front. Now I'll take this piece, which is cut at 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to put that right up here against this edge. And I'm going to put that aside so we can do our stamping here. So this time we're doing this little cow. And again, I'm going to ink him up in the Memento Black. I just had a really bad thought that I forgot to tell my family. I always send them a reminder text and say, I'm doing Facebook Live, because otherwise they'll text me and then my phone starts vibrating, so that gets kind of crazy. It distracts me. So this one I did Dream Big. This one I'm going to do, there's a greeting that says over the moon for you. And I stamped that on there. And then I'm going to also stamp, there's a moon. And so I'm just going to stamp that over here. And then I'm also going to go ahead and stamp on the inside for this one too. And I think what I'm going to do on this one is just stamp a couple moons in here. Instead of doing the cow, I'm just going to do a couple moons. And then we'll go ahead and color those in before we put them inside of our card. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to bring this back over, put this under here so I don't color through on my image. And we just need a couple of our Stampin' Blends markers. For this one I'm using Light Soft Suede, and I'm also going to use Dark Mango Melody, and again I'm going to use the Light Petal Pink. And I'll try to hurry along here so that you don't have to wait too long to watch me color. The Blends markers actually color in pretty quickly. I'm going to use the mango for the moon. Oh, I need to get my other end. I think my marker tip is wearing out. I've used this color a lot. It's one of my favorites. And then I'm going to color his little cowbell, also this mango color. I forgot to color in his ears on the other one, so I'll just color the little parts of his inside of his ear with the light Flirty Flamingo. And then start coloring him in with the light soft suede. Isn't he so cute? All right. I actually, my team meeting, we had a team meeting last night for, my upline had a team meeting, and I did a cow card, and I actually won first place. So I'm going to be sharing that with you. Later this week, I'll share the card that I made for that. I'm going to go ahead and color the inside of these real quickly. I'm sorry, I probably should have chosen another color because it seems like my marker is wearing out a little bit, but we'll get there. Do you guys use the Stampin' Blends markers? I really like them because they color with no lines, and they're great for just coloring in, but then you can also, I've been doing some practicing with how to blend some of the different colors to get shading and make it look a little darker and lighter, like the sun might be shining down on parts of it. So I'm going to share some of that with you too, just the things that I've learned. So again, we're going to go ahead and put this piece on the inside. I've seen some very beautiful work with the Stampin' Blends markers, and I'm hoping that I can get just as good as some of those people that I've seen. I'm going to take this white piece and adhere it to the mint macaron. Again, this piece is, whoops, 3 1/4 by 2 1/2. This one is 3 by 2 1/4. Layer those right up. I'm going to use 4 dimensionals on the back. And I'm going to put that right here in the center. And then the last thing that we have to do, besides making sure that it's straight, is we're going to make a bow with that ribbon that I showed you in the beginning. Just cut it off at a cute little angle there just to make it look pretty. And then I'll use a glue dot and just put this right up here in the corner. So there we are. Card number 2 is all done. And then our last project, of course, is this cute little milk carton. It's a big enough size to hold quite a few treats. I didn't put any in this one, but actually I was thinking it'd be fun to find something that was cow, but I think there are some cow candies out there, but I don't know what they are exactly. So I'll have to be looking around for that. I wanted to show you one thing, and hopefully you can see on here. This one I just ran right through the embossing folder, but on the one that I'm going to make today, I wanted to show you a little trick. So I need to get my brown ink. And of course it's in just the right place that I can't get it. There we go. Now you can do this with a lot of the embossing folders, and I know that I've shown you on some other ones, but you can run these through the Big Shot after you do this. So you're just going to take your ink pad, whoops, try not to make the lid fall off, and just, this one is real loose, it wants to keep coming off. Let me see if I turn it upside down, if that helps. And you're just going to kind of rub it over there, making sure to get ink in all the places. And then when you feel happy with how much you have on there, you can go ahead and put your piece of cardstock right down, close up the embossing folder, run it through the Big Shot, and what you're going to end up with is, hopefully you can see that. See how you have all the part that embossed down got inked up. So for this box, I just added a little bit of ink. This one I didn't, so you can see there's just a light difference. This I used crumb cake, but if you wanted to crumb cake ink on crumb cake paper, if you wanted it a little bit darker, you could do soft suede or a darker brown. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this box. We are starting with a piece of paper at 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. We do need our scoring board. So let me get that. And on the 8 1/4 side, we're going to score at 1 7/8, 3 3/4, 5 5/8, and 7 1/2. Then we're going to turn it to the 5 1/2 side, and we're going to score at 1 7/8, 3 3/4, and 5. And that's it for our scoring. Now we do need a pair of paper snips, and I'm gonna try to show you. Let's see if I can maybe outline it just a little bit. I'll take my marker here. And all your score lines, there's a little one in the corner. That's probably easiest. At the bottom that looks like this. We're going to cut that totally out. So on your opposite side, there's going to be a 1/2 inch score line all the way across. This is the one that you want to cut out. Then what you want to do is all these other score lines, you want to cut right up just to that first score line. All right, now we just need to burnish all of these score lines. So take your bone folder and go ahead and make sure that they have a crisp fold there. Do you all like making 3D projects, or would you prefer to make cards? Which is your preference? I like to do a little mix of both. So how about we do this? If you like to make 3D projects best, leave me a heart. If you like to mostly make cards, you can leave me the laughing face. That would be great. Then I can see them going across. Okay, so now that we've folded up all of our score lines, we're going to take this small little edge that's here, and we're going to put adhesive. I would recommend the liquid adhesive, or you can also use the tear and tape. And the reason that I recommend one of those is you want adhesive on all of this because it needs to seal tight, so when we're folding it into the, kind of forcing it into the carton, it's all stuck together. So go ahead and just bring this right over. And because I'm using the liquid glue, I just want to kind of hold it in place for just a minute to make sure that it's doing what it needs to, and then we can open it up into our box. And now these pieces down here will need to fold in. So we're going to put adhesive on those. And I like to kind of just fold it up to see what's going to go in first and last. So I know that first piece I'm not going to put adhesive on at all. So I'm going to take these 3 flaps right here, lay my box down. I had a little rough edge here I had to cut off. And I'm going to, again, use a strong adhesive. So I'd recommend tear and tape or the liquid adhesive. I'm using my Fast Fuse because that's what I have right now. I would not use snail for this. Your box will fall apart. So now you want to go ahead and put your first flap down and bring this one down and just kind of make sure it's sealed there. We will run our bone folder over it in just a minute. And then I like to take it from the top and just kind of go around in there. Okay, so now our box is made, and I realize I just goofed because my last one I also goofed, and I was gonna try to do some stamping on here, but I'll do something else. This part here we should have stamped on before we glued it all together, and I'm not going to tear it apart. So actually what I did with this one, and it worked out just fine, is I put my hand behind it and I stamped. But I'm going to do something different. Let me grab a punch real quick. I'm going to grab my 1-inch punch and we'll do something different. All right, now we're going to take those pieces that I showed you that I ran through the Big Shot, and these pieces are 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. And I'm going to turn all of mine over and put adhesive on at the same time. Oh, and that one's turned over. Oh, good thing it didn't stick down. I'm going to go ahead and just go all the way around. Make sure that your wood is going whatever way you want it to go. So I want mine all to be up and down, but it could go sideways if you would rather. And then just make sure that they're stuck on really well. And then you're going to kind of just, so this is a square, you're just going to kind of, let me show you up here, pinch it together. But then you'll see the sides kind of don't want to go where they need to go. So you want to put your finger inside and kind of force that score line out. So you're going to do the same thing on this side. Just kind of force that score line out. So when you pinch it together, now you can see the score line comes out and the carton goes in. Next step is I'm going to use a handheld punch, just a small little, just going to leave a hole for some ribbon. This one I'm having a little trouble getting because it's so many layers. I'm going to have to open it up. I'm just going to open it up since I can already see where, when I tested it out, it went through just fine. That one's through. I'll turn it over because I can see where it tried to go through and it just didn't. So then I'm going to bring it back because now I need to do the inside piece. And this one, it just does not want to. All right. So, well, there's more than one way to do this. We'll just, I can see it on the side where that went to. And now I have holes everywhere that I need to. For this one, I'm going to use some of our ribbon that carried over from the other catalog, the grosgrain ribbon, and this is in Pineapple Punch. And so I'm just going to feed this right through. That hole doesn't want me to put ribbon through it very badly, I guess. Of course, I would note right now that you would want to put your treats in before you put your ribbon. Otherwise, you'll have to untie it. And one other tip that I've noticed is if you cut your ribbon at a nice point right there, it feeds through the punched holes just a little bit better. Looks like I cut way too much ribbon for this, but that's okay. Do you ever have a project, the first time you do it, it goes together so great, and then the next time you're like, what was I thinking? This is turning into one of those projects. My bow doesn't want to tie, and all right. There we go. Bow tied. Cutting this off. All right, that part is done. Now we need to stamp our little cow right here onto this piece. And I couldn't get the whole cow on there, so I decided, well, I'll just do his face, because how cute would he be just doing that? And so I cut this piece out in the smallest stitch framelit. Again, inked up my cow. It probably would be best, that worked out okay, it would be best to stamp your image and then cut it out, but this worked out just fine. So let me get my markers. For this one I am using light soft suede, light crumb cake. I'm using light real red, of course the light petal pink, dark pineapple punch, and granny apple green, and I think that's it. All right, so for the granny apple green, we're just going to color the little petals of the leaves of the flower. I'm going to color the center of the flower in the real red. And the outside of the flower in the pineapple punch to match our ribbon. The light petal pink here. This is the soft suede. I'm sorry, crumb cake, light crumb cake, not soft suede. And I'm trying to hurry here. I'm not probably doing my very best coloring right now, but we'll get them colored in here. Not too bad. I think I've missed a few spots, but that's okay. And then I'm using the light soft suede just to color in the spots. And this cow, let me finish coloring these, has a really super cute pair of rain boots. Let me show you. Look at those boots. Aren't they so adorable? I'm going to show you a card later this week that I did color her boots in. So this piece is all done. Now I'm going to go ahead and put that on with the dimensional, because we always like everything to pop up. And then we're going to add a little greeting up here. And because I forgot, let me grab a little piece of white paper. And I think for this one, I'm going to use one of the different greetings. There's a greeting in this set that says, "Party till the cows come home." So I'm going to use that one since I haven't used it yet. I don't really know what that means. Party till the cows come home. I guess you can't party very late, because the cows I've seen usually come home before dark. So it's not very much partying. I'm going to use real red. I'm just going to use a scrap of white. And then my 1-inch circle punch. Put my ink away so I don't stick my hand in it. I'm going to use another dimensional on the back of it. And I'm just going to put it right up here. So we still got our greeting. Another thing that I thought with this is you could use a flower stamp instead of using the barnwood before you put the box together, and just stamp all over the whole box and then put it together, and that would be really cute to have flowers all over with the cow, because she has her own flower there. So again, if you're watching me on the replay on YouTube, I would appreciate if you would hit the subscribe button and leave me a comment. If you need to order supplies for this project or any other project, please come on over to my store. Check out the brand new catalog. There are so many awesome new items. And as always, if you make a purchase of $30 or more using this host code right here through my online store at stampitwithdebbie.stampinup.net, I'm going to send you the make and take kits for this project here. Now, it doesn't include the stamping, so you'll have to have your own stamp per Stampin' Up regulations. I can't do any stamping for you, but I'll send you all the ribbon. I'll send you the box, and it will already be scored, and all the other parts. And you don't have to order the cow stamp. You can order anything that you want. Go to my online store, check it out. Leave me a comment below if you're on Facebook, and I hope that you'll join me again next week for another fabulous product from the new Stampin' Up catalog. Be sure and stop back again over at my Facebook, again if you're on YouTube, facebook.com/stampitwithdebbie, and you'll find projects that I've been sharing there as well. Thank you everyone for stopping by and sharing your Wednesday afternoon with me. Have a great afternoon.